this was an extremely thoughtful decision, one in which, I had to reflect and pray about, and one that I had to think just as far as judicial economy is concerned. This was not an easy decision. As a mother, I'm a fighter, and if it were your child, you would want somebody to fight for you. That's something that we do in this role, in this position. I fought for Felicia Barnes, I fought for Carter Scott, I fought for Shatia Lansdowne, I fought for Thomas Palermo, so I don't give up. And my prosecutors don't give up, especially when we believe we're pursuing justice. He acquitted one of the arresting officer, which would be the same evidence in this case that we were proceeding on today. He acquitted the wagon driver. He acquitted the highest ranking police officer. And so it was a matter of whether we continue to fight this battle, or do we expose some of the systemic issues that I think should be addressed in the criminal justice system? And do we try to show the public that, yeah, this is not a perfect system, but this is one in which it needs reform? The way that the system is set up, my job is to present evidence in front of a jury. As a prosecutor, we do not determine guilt or innocence. That's for the fact finder. That's for the judge or a jury. When we tried this case, when we tried Officer Porter, this was before 12 Baltimore City jurors. Some of them believed he was guilty. Some of them did not. And that's the way that it works. So ultimately, the fact that we didn't have the election as a prosecutor to select whether it was going to be in front of a judge or a jury, I think is something that was a part of my thought process as to why we shouldn't continue to proceed. This judge has made his decisions and rationale rather clear.
And that's the defendant's right.
And that's the defendant's right. Now, federally, and maybe that's something that we should consider in reforming, right? Because federally, the prosecutor has to agree to a bench trial. But, the way that it works statewide is that you don't. The police officers each and every day, I know firsthand, make a sacrifice and put their lives on the line to support and protect our communities. So I am not anti-police, and that's what I made clear. I'm anti-police brutality. This is not and should not affect our relationship, because in the end, what I've learned is that it's not just police officers where they shouldn't police themselves. It's any profession. The police officers are like a brotherhood, right? If I was prosecuting my brother, I would have to recuse myself. These are your friends. These are your colleagues. In any other profession, you would have to recuse yourself. Why is it any differently for the police department? I don't think there's a concern that it would define me. I don't think that's a problem if this defines me, because I'm fighting for justice. And I treated this case no differently than I treated any other case. I fought for all of those other victims, and I would fight for Freddie Gray. And I don't want this one case to overshadow the 49,999 other cases that we prosecute a year. That this is not about Marilyn Mosby. As much as the media has, attacked me and my credibility and tried to make it about me, this has never been about me. This has always been about a 25-year-old man who ran from the police, and that decision turned out to be a fatal decision. He's now no longer with us. And he was from that community. And I wanted to be able to assure that community that I'm going to fight for anybody in this community the same way I would fight for any and everybody throughout the city of Baltimore, because I wanted to bring it back. That's what it's always been about. Not about me, and I could have had the press conference in my nice office space, or I could have done it outside the courthouse steps. It was not about the judge. It was not about me. It's always been about justice for a 25-year-old Freddie Gray.